Hey everyone, and welcome to another installment of Ticket Stubs and Popcorn. I am Frank,
And I'm Peter.
and today we are going to be talking about Robert De Niro.
Oh, it
So
was
good.
about time.
It's about time.
When
right?
he showed
About
up,
time.
it was like,
Yeah.
how did he last
How
this
did
long?
he last this long? Which I'm sure is nothing that's ever been asked of him. So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about, Robert De Niro.
Robert De
So,
Niro.
we're going to talk about Robert De Niro
I've got a question for you.
for afterwards.
Yeah, we'll save this one. And sometimes it can be your attitude going into a movie or your frame of mind when you're watching a movie. And sometimes that can get skewed. Are there some movies that you either have seen or would like to see in an altered state? So let's just say, are there movies out there that you prefer or would like to see either drunk or high?
All right.
Something like that one.
All right, good question. That's cool. All right, cool. All right, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. All right, good. All right. So, start talking about Robert De Niro.
Ooh, Robert De Niro.
Go ahead.
Man, incredible.
Man's a legend.
He is. He's a legend, and he has been a legend for quite some time. Commands your attention.
Oh, yeah.
No matter if he's asleep in the scene, he's
Right.
still got your attention.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just him. He is acting personified. I'm going to just say it's very difficult to narrow it down to three, but when I think of Robert De Niro, the very first movie that comes to mind, because of this powerhouse, acting of his, is this performance as Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull.
Okay.
I remember seeing that. It was spring break in college. The movie had just come out. I had this small window of time where I had a little more free time, obviously, to go, and the movie was out, and I saw it, and I was just blown away. When I was from very young, I was very interested in boxing and boxing history and stuff. So this helped that, me to get into the movie.
Yeah.
But I didn't need that, to be honest, to get into this movie. He is just incredible. Wonderful supporting cast too. He's not alone in this movie. Joe Pesci is great in it as well. And but his performance, he still has this Italian kind of chip on his shoulder sort of thing going on, as he does in many other movies. But in this case, he's not in the mob. He's got his own little club, but it's in his head. He's got to do it by himself, and therefore he eschews any mafia or any help to help his career move on. And because of that, he's just kind of this fiercely independent, to the point he alienates his brother, his wife, Vicky.
Yeah.
But he is just tremendous, and this was probably the first movie I can remember people talking about, saying, "Oh my God, he's put on 50 pounds and then he loses." He does stuff to his body to get ready for this thing. And also part of it was to get in shape to box and to get training to box as well. And unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not just what he does to his body, but what you see on the screen. He just loses his temper. He's on the edge so many times. He just boom, and then he's just having a fight with his brother out in the street or in the apartment, or he's just dragging people around. He can't control his emotions. Wonderful. So that performance is one of those that just, I think of that first. That's one.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to a second one.
Okay.
Full stop. Back in the day, Godfather, the original movie, caught everyone's attention. Won many Academy Awards and nominations
Right.
for the few that it didn't win. And then they come out with, a very short time later, part 2. And so, you know, Francis Ford Coppola is working on it. The first one is so big. The book was huge.
The book was amazing.
A year or two
Did you read
before
the
the
book?
movie. No,
The book is
actually,
great.
I haven't. And that was huge. And like 2 years later, the movie comes out, or whatever, a year and a half, the movie comes out and made everything even bigger. So we have this immediately iconic role of Vito Corleone, played by Marlon Brando. And about a year or two later, they tap a young Robert De Niro to recreate a younger version of that same role.
God,
So
good.
we already have this idea of what Marlon Brando is as Vito Corleone. Mannerisms, speech patterns, everything. The way he kind of walks, the whole bit, the way he carries himself. And Robert De Niro is able to recreate that as a younger man. And it is so believable.
Yeah, it's so
It is so believable. You never suspect that 2 Academy Award-winning actors playing this thing in 2 different movies. You don't even think once that this isn't the same person. Never. He pulls this off. He is just as much Vito Corleone as Marlon Brando is. And
It's just
that's
like,
saying,
oh, so
you
when
know,
Marlon Brando was younger, he was Robert De Niro.
you got it.
That's
You got
how
it.
it was.
Exactly. What he does is tremendous because he's the second act, even though technically he's playing the first act.
Yeah.
And to make that work, you say that's genius. He has wonderful directing, incredible writing. Yes. But Robert De Niro can pull that off to recreate that character and not ever let you think, yeah, he's not as good as the first movie.
Right.
This sucks. Did you see the first movie?
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? It's never like that. So that's my second pick, Godfather Part 2. And we've talked about this, how we get somebody like Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, anybody.
It's tough to pare
that
it down.
third one, you go, geez, what am I doing with the third one? Because there's so many others. There's so many others. And he is such an accomplished actor where he has done other stuff. He's done comedy. And there are a few of those that I enjoy. But when it came down to it, I couldn't go too far afield, and I went with Taxi Driver. Travis Bickle. That's an intense person. Means well, tries to do the right thing, but there's something off to begin with.
You know.
And so it's not the right thing.
What is it
It's you know, yes. He's has a strange way of going about it, has a strange way of looking at things.
The road to good intentions is paved with a saying or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
So-
the road to hell is paved with good
With good
intentions.
intentions,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe something like that
Yeah.
one. Yeah. And that's, yeah. Oh, so anyway, as Travis Bickle, once again, he's got at that time, smaller name supporting cast, but still a very good supporting cast. But this movie is so much what is going on in his life, in his head, in his cab. It's, you know, it is so, it rests not squarely, but almost completely and squarely on his shoulders.
Oh no,
And
I wouldn't equivocate at all. He's definitely, he totally.
Yeah,
totally carries
it's his movie. There's some
Yeah.
good support, but oh wow, he's scary. It's freaky. It does. You know, Martin Scorsese has, you know, realized at this point and at that point, a fairly short career what he has. Boy, what violence and blood and gore can suddenly do.
Oh yeah,
and it's just unbelievable. And it's a great movie because we start to see a young or fairly young Harvey Keitel, a young Jodie Foster, Peter Boyle is used well in this one. Sybil Shepherd and Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
They got some great.
Yeah.
They're smaller roles, but they work those edges out really nice. And he's in the middle.
And that's definitely one of those movies. Just like, oh yeah, I forgot they were in this. Like Albert Brooks is definitely one of them.
Yeah. So I could go on and on. I could say, Midnight Run is a great comedy. I could say, Mean Streets, which is phenomenal in. So many.
Yeah, there's so many. It's tough to.
And I'll be honest, I'm a fan of Meet the Parents. It can go funny stuff. It can
and
go
he
all
is
over.
one of those rare dramatic actors that I think can do comedy.
Yep.
So, which is great. And we only overlap on one.
Very good.
Yeah. So that's
great.
That's a great thing. So, we overlap with Godfather 2. It's just like you said, the way he's able to take what Marlon Brando did in the first one and really just build those. Like you see
seamless.
The mannerisms, you see how this older man became who he was, and it's so interesting because like some of the things are just so subtle, and it's really fantastic, and I love the. Like there's such a delicacy in that performance, like when he's with his wife and stuff like that.
I love
like
those
he's really, because it is
he brings
such
her the pear.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
Just, here's the pear.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just so. I mean, it's just so contrary to what you think of when you think about this badass mafia don.
Yes.
And that he's really just all about, I'm just going to take care of my family and take care of my friends and try to do this stuff. And
he wants to get that rug because his wife would like
right,
the rug.
Exactly. It just really ties the room together.
It really does.
So Marlon Brando, so Vito Corleone, the original dude. So
yeah.
So Godfather 2. Hands down. In fact, there are lots of ways that movie I think is better than the first one, and the third one is trash. So let's just
third one never happened.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned,
exactly. My next one would be Casino.
Yeah.
And Casino is interesting because you could also go like Goodfellas.
I love Goodfellas.
Casino, I think, is one of those where he's doing like his mafia guy thing, which is kind of a Robert De Niro thing. Let's face it, But this one is you see him he's got like some chink in his armor there. He's a little bit like Sharon Stone is his kryptonite there, and that's like she's the thing that sort of puts him in jeopardy. Yes. Let's be honest, and it's one of those things where that's one of those rare times where you see one of his kind of like mafia guy characters have a chink in his armor or a vulnerability that does end up getting him in trouble quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, and I really enjoyed that because it does show kind of a softer, more vulnerable side to these characters that can get to a point where they're just cartoonish and a caricature. Yeah. So I think that's what makes a good, mafia movie differentiates that from a bad one, where otherwise it just becomes like these, just cartoon sort of like soldiers, guys in suits, and it's just. Yeah, but when you've got a great story and you've got an actor like De Niro who can go and you can show that, like that's his soft spot. He's gonna make decisions that aren't always so smart. Right, because his heart's telling him to do something else. And it's great because it becomes totally believable. It does, especially given what we've seen with The Godfather and what you see in Taxi Driver's not a mafia movie, but he is sort of he's crazy, but he's kind of a badass in that. And what you see in like Goodfellas and stuff. So Casino is my second one, and then my other one. We all know my penchant for seeing actors do stuff that's not quite them. Is in a movie called Stardust.
I love that. That was way up on my list too.
It's just so much. Where he plays like this this cross-dressing pirate.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're watching this movie. And I'm sitting there watching this movie with my kids, and it's a fun little kind of fantasy,
It's very good.
fairy tale
I like
kind of
that
thing.
movie, yeah.
And he's just the badass pirate captain guy, and he's just
And
like,
then he goes to his.
whoa,
And
what
then he
is
goes back to
happening
the,
right now? And I just,
he's in captain's quarters now, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
well, wait a minute, what's he doing?
what is happening? It's like the comic.
Changing.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God. It's sort of like a comic fantasy version of what you see in Silence of the Lambs with, Buffalo Bill, dancing around.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is going, and it's just, and it works.
It does work.
It's so good. It's so fun and funny. And I'm killing myself laughing. And my kids are looking at me like, all right, I mean,
Yeah.
this
I
is
see it.
fine.
It's
I'm just
funny.
like,
Yeah,
but
you're
you
like,
have no idea why this is hilarious. We're going to watch I know you're 8, but we're going to watch Godfather, and then you'll see why this is so funny.
You won't be laughing then,
You won't be
kids.
laughing then. So, and then you go and watch Godfather 2, and it's just like, stop crying.
Fredo had it coming.
He had
Stop
it
crying.
So anyway, so Stardust is the other one. And there's other great performances in that, so it's a great little movie that,
is.
that
It's a
didn't
very
get
good
nearly
movie.
as much
I agree.
as I thought
agree.
it should have, but it's got great little pockets of stuff. It's like when you watch the like those series of unfortunate events movies, and you look at that, it's just like, hey, it's Meryl Streep, and she's fucking crazy,
Yeah,
but that's great.
But
To see De Niro in Stardust was just like so much fun, so good. So
one movie which was way up on my list, and I just didn't have room. Is Jackie Brown. His performance in that thing, he doesn't play his normal character, but what he does is the character he's been given in this movie, he plays perfectly.
Yeah. And
he's like the second chance guy who spent most of his life in jail. He's kind of like, he rocks back in his heels. It's exactly like somebody who's older, who's been released from prison.
Yeah.
He's not, it's just time has kind of aged him in a certain way, and he knows this character. He plays it so well. He's not in your face. He plays it exactly like it's supposed to be.
And they could have given
so
that role
believable
to anybody, because it's such a sort of like third layer down kind of like character.
But
it's
he does it's like he knows this character. He sees how it's written, and he just like does it perfectly. Yeah. It's just not a big role,
right?
And I just love him in that role. I mean, that's way up on my list, but it just didn't make my top
didn't
three.
make the cut. So
he does everything so well.
He really does. He really does. All right, so movie to see when you're altered. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to.
So I'm more of a boozy guy than a smoking guy. So I would it would need to be with like a group of people.
Yes.
And I remember.
Yeah, I agree.
I remember back in the movie theater days. I worked in a movie theater.
You used to work in a movie theater?
I did, yeah. And a bunch of us went to go see Tenacious D.
Pick of Destiny.
Pick of Destiny.
Ah, yes.
And a couple of us had a couple of shots beforehand, and we were being loud and rowdy and saying stuff, and then somebody complained. Because it was all of us like managers, supervisor people. Someone complained, and the kid comes up. Do you remember this? The kid comes up to throw us out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. You were there.
Yeah.
So a kid comes up. He's just like, hey, I'm going to have... We're like, what? Oh, it's just like, everyone...
Oh, it's my bosses.
It's all my bosses.
I'm going to go.
So, but yeah, it's got to be with a group of people. So that's one of them. I think another one, a movie that I would know well, like any of the Star Wars movies, where I know them well enough, and I have, over the years, proven my geek cred enough that I can also make fun of those movies.
Oh yeah,
because they're. I mean, as
it's
much
family.
As exactly. So exactly. And who better to make fun of you than family? So I'll make fun. Yeah. So probably something like that. I would do. Yeah. So what about you? We should do a watching Star Wars while drunk episode.
Oh.
Do like a live stream. and just sit there, and we should totally do that. We should do that.
Well, we could always shoot for.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe for, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day.
Or May the 4th, we could. Or is that too far away?
That's too far away.
That's too far away.
Well, St. Patrick's Day.
The reason I thought it was like when you watch a movie like in an altered state, it does change. Like I can remember watching Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny, and I remember one time we watched that thing. It was like we had to build the film, and it was like 4 a.m. to like screen it, and there was, I don't know, maybe 4 of us, and all of a sudden it was the funniest movie we had ever seen. We were just laughing out of control. Yeah. And we're like, oh my God. So we told more people. And then like the next night at say 2 o'clock, we had a few more people. And watch it. It was the funniest thing in the world. And then we may have seen it in an altered state. And it was still so funny. And then I think we saw it like a 4th time in the same week. And it wasn't late. We weren't on anything. And we're watching it and we're like, oh, this isn't as funny as it was.
But like, how long has it been since you've seen that movie?
Yeah,
it's probably been a decade since you've seen that movie.
Oh, I think.
So I guarantee that if we watched it again, just not altered, no drinks, nothing else, it would still be funny because it's a funny movie.
Oh no, it's definitely funny. But I just remember thinking.
I just think that was
this is the funniest
because it was like 4 times in the course of like 10 days.
Oh, even less probably than 10 days.
So
all right. So I was just saying that sometimes your perception is altered, but then there are other movies. Yeah, you would say, oh, I wouldn't mind. I should. So, Up in Smoke, which I had seen in that condition many years ago when that came out. That's just one of those things.
You know what I think? It's not even out yet, but coming up. I think in 3D or at least IMAX, the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Because the way, like if you watch the trailer for that, have you seen the trailer for that?
No, I
oh my God.
Seen the trailer.
If you see the trailer for that, it's like all sorts of spinning. So if you're messed up watching that in a theater, 3D glasses.
3D would,
so that would be pretty intense, I think. So that would be cool.
Yeah. So I was going to say another one, maybe on some altered, in some altered state, Alice in Wonderland, the animated Disney one from the 50s. Watch maybe like 6 or like 8 Three Stooges in a row and think those are the funniest.
You know what we do? This is what we do. We watch one of the Star Wars movies, like a shitty one, like the prequels or something like that. All right? And every time, like, R2-D2 says something, we do a shot.
Hi, Bob. Oh,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We do a shot.
Oh.
Huh? Come on, everybody. Anyway, I think that'd be super fun. Anyway, who's in the bucket? What's next on the bucket?
I have no idea. Robert De Niro coming up. Right. Because let's be honest, we
could do Robert De Niro like 4 times. This would be good. That's good. Mix it up a little bit.
Oh yeah, very good. Okay, I like that.
All right, so folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Subscribe and all that good stuff. I hope everyone's having a great. What is this? February, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Take care.